Have you ever wondered what would happen if every trace of your existence was suddenly erased? No announcement made, and no final goodbyes ever spoken to anyone. In the quiet of a midnight room, a single choice echoes through the silence. To disappear is not just to run, it is to sever your soul. In psychology, this is more than escape. It is a form of social suicide, a desperate attempt to find a different life beneath the weight of expectations. The city breathes around you, but you are no longer a part of its rhythm. You become a shadow moving through a forest of bright neon lights. Looking into the mirror, the person you once were begins to fade. The reflection is a stranger, a ghost of a life that no longer belongs here. Your identity starts to crack and fragment. Every memory, every name, and every connection begins to dissolve into a sea of digital noise and forgotten promises. They call them the Johtsu, the evaporated people. They choose to vanish into thin air, leaving behind empty chairs and unanswered questions in their former lives. This is the journey of the void, where the self is sacrificed for the sake of survival. It is a quiet rebellion against the burden of being. In the modern world, we are tracked by every step, yet some find a way to fall through the cracks and live in the hidden spaces. The decision is made in a heartbeat, but lasts a lifetime. You are here, but the world no longer knows where to find your hidden heart. A new chapter begins in total darkness. The memory of you is all that remains, a fading echo in the halls of a life now abandoned. When a person decides to vanish, their body enters a state of primal survival. Every sense is heightened, every shadow becomes a potential threat to hide. Cortisol floods the system, not to fight a physical enemy, but to guard against the haunting ghost of a past that refuses to stay dead. The brain is on fire, trapped in a constant loop of hypervigilance. You are free from your debts, but you are a prisoner of your fear. Every footstep behind you sounds like a hunter. Every glance from a stranger feels like an accusation. Your mind becomes a fortress with no exits. Your heart beats for a ghost. You live in a paradox where physical freedom creates a mental cage built from the bricks of ancient survival instincts. The train carries you to nowhere, a destination without a name. In the eyes of the law, you are gone, but the brain never truly forgets. Tracking your own disappearance is a full-time job. You must outrun the digital trail, the credit cards, and the faces that once knew your real name. Over time, the acute fear turns into a dull, constant ache. The adrenaline fades, leaving behind a cold, calculating machine focused only on remaining unseen. You are protecting yourself from a life you hated, yet the cost is a perpetual state of war within your own nervous system and weary heart. Who are you when you are no longer a son, a worker, or a friend? You are a biological entity moving through a world of shadows. The world continues to spin above your head, oblivious to your descent. You are a shadow in the machinery, a glitch in the social fabric. Survival is an exhausting art form. The ghost of your former self follows you onto every train, whispering the name you are trying so hard to forget. In the dark, the identity finally begins to crumble. The survival instinct is satisfied, but the soul is left wandering in a vast, empty wilderness. Identity collapse begins with the silence of your own name. When no one calls for you, the person you used to be starts to wither away. You hold a new name in your hand, printed on cheap plastic. It feels heavy, like a mask that is beginning to fuse with your skin. Cognitive dissonance sets in as the old life battles the new void. You are a man with two faces, but neither of them feels like home. Your self-perception shatters like glass. Each shard reflects a different version of a man who no longer knows which piece is the real truth. The mind struggles to bridge the gap between who you were and who you are pretending to be. This friction creates a hole in the soul. Every time you speak your new name, a small part of your heart recoils. It is a lie that you must live until it becomes true. The struggle for identity is a silent war. In the absence of a past, the present becomes an anchorless vessel drifting in a dark, cold sea. Time becomes an enemy when you have no history. Every second is a reminder of the void you have created, a hollow space where love once lived. You are an actor in a play with no audience. The role you play is nobody, and you are performing it with terrifying, heartbreaking perfection every day. The collapse is not loud. It is the sound of a falling leaf. It is the slow erosion of the ego until only the bones remain. We are built of stories, but you have burned your book. Now you must write on pages made of smoke, using ink made of shadows. Is it freedom if you cannot remember the taste of your mother's cooking or the sound of a friend laughing at your old stupid jokes? The Ho-Gen in your soul grows larger with every sunset. You are a ghost haunting the halls of your own mind, looking for a door. The brain is a master of adaptation. Through neuroplasticity, it begins to rewire itself to survive in the cold, harsh climate of absolute, total isolation. You learn to see without being seen. The neural pathways of social connection begin to wither, replaced by the sharp, efficient circuits of a quiet predator. Your brain is pruning the memories of warmth. The you that needed touch and validation is being replaced by a you that only needs safety. The faces of those you loved become blurry, not because you want to forget, but because your mind is protecting you from the pain of longing. You are learning to live without a reflection. The world becomes a series of data points, and you are just a ghost navigating through the code. Every day of silence reinforces the new structure of your mind. You are becoming a master of the void, a scholar of the great, empty nothing. The things that once defined you are gone. You are no longer bound by the gravity of your past, but you are also without weight. This adaptation is a painful, slow death of the ego. To survive as a ghost, you must first kill the man who lived in the light. You don't just pretend to be gone. Your biology is catching up to your choice. You are physically forgetting how to be a human being. The transition is complete when you can no longer remember the sound of your own voice. You have become the silence between the spoken words. In this state, the world is a dream and you are the only one awake. But it is a lonely awakening in a house with no windows. The plasticity of the mind is a double-edged sword. It allows you to survive the impossible, but it makes returning to the light nearly impossible. You have successfully vanished, not just from the maps and the databases, but from the very core of your own sentient, once vibrant human consciousness. Absolute freedom is a luxury that tastes like poison. When no one knows who you are, you have no burdens, but you have no anchor. You can go anywhere, do anything, and no one will care. But that lack of consequence is a heavy weight that slowly crushes your spirit. This is the home of the disappeared. A four-walled box where the only witness to your life is the dust dancing in the dim light. You are a ghost of the present. You exist in the physical world, but you have no presence in the hearts of those around you. The price of erasing your past is the loss of your future. Without a story to build upon, you are forever stuck in a static now. Connectivity is the oxygen of the human soul. By cutting the ties, you are slowly suffocating in a vacuum of your own making and design. You traded love for safety and meaning for anonymity. The trade seemed fair at first, but the silence in the room is getting louder. If you fall, no one will know a man has died. They will only see a nameless body, a statistic in a city that never stops. Objects lose their meaning when they have no history. You are surrounded by things that don't belong to anyone, including yourself, in this void. Freedom without connection is just another name for being lost. You have reached the summit of your isolation, and the air is very thin. In the heart of the shadow, a small spark of the old self screams. It wants to be seen, to be known, to be finally remembered. You are the king of a kingdom of nothing. Your throne is made of secrets, and your crown is a mask that you can't remove. The price is paid every single day. You are free, yes, but you are a prisoner of the very freedom you fought so hard to find. Emptiness is not a lack of things, it is a memory of what used to be there. It is the footprint of a soul that left. The sun rises for the world, but for the Johtsu, the night never truly ends. They live in the twilight of human experience and social interaction. Names are the first things to go, then the memories, and finally, the dreams. What remains is a shell, a vessel waiting for a passenger. We define ourselves by the eyes of others. When those eyes are turned away, we begin to lose our shape and our very own sense of self. Is it better to suffer in the light or to be safe in the dark? This is the question that haunts every ghost in this city. The silence is not peace, it is a heavy, suffocating blanket. It is the sound of a heart beating in a room where no one listens. The memories of the void are all that's left. They are the echoes of a life that was once full of noise, color, and messy love. Identity is a sacrifice they make for existence. They give up who they are just to be allowed to stay in this cold, indifferent reality. But is it truly living if no one knows you are alive? Is it a life if your story has no beginning and no ending? We are the stories people tell about us. Without those stories, we are just shadows dancing on a wall, waiting for the light to die. In the end, the void is all that remains. A memory of emptiness, a whisper in the wind, and a name that no one can say. Remember the ghosts, for they were once like you, searching for a way to be free, only to find themselves lost in the infinite Hu Kong.